Classmates, you may be seated. My name is Chase Gibson, and I'm a proud member of the 2022 graduating class at Tremont High School. I've had the privilege of attending Tremont Public Schools for 13 years. This means I've known more of my life with my classmates than without. In a very beautiful way, we've been sort of like brothers and sisters persisting through some very difficult challenges. We went without half of a traditional high school experience. However, through it all, it was amazing to see everyone come together and help one another out in such troubled times. I know that this past senior year being as close to normal as possible, I've especially appreciated every day with my classmates. This is a bittersweet moment, and it marks the end of the chapter of our lives together. It all started at Tremont Grade School when our parents dropped us off while we kicked, screamed, and cried to try and get out of school. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I saw Ashlyn Allen and Zach Miller doing the same thing on the first day of our senior year of high school. I was fortunate to have a lot of my first year in the Tremont school system. That same year, my parents dropped me off at kindergarten. Thinking I was safe, I was beaten up for the very first time. Picture this, fall 2009, and an innocent Chase Gibson is attending recess. If you aren't familiar with the THS blacktop, there's a large multicolored graphic of a map of the United States right in the center. Chase happened to be standing in the very northeast portion of the map when unexpectedly, Emma Linnington, who he thought was his friend, pulled him down by his hoodie and dragged him from the northern fishing coast of Maine all the way down to sunny Southern California. With scraped hands and an injured ego, I would never live that down. Not only that, but when I sought the help of my teachers and confronted Emma not too long after, she outright denied what she did to me. That was my first taste of injustice in this cold, cruel world, and it wasn't the sort of education I was expecting as a kindergartner. From grade school to middle school and then finally high school, we've stuck it out together. It was our class that finally made Mr. Barry snap. We were all called into the chorus room for a lecture about how apathetic of a class we were. When I say lecture, I mean a proper furious rant from Mr. Barry. If our class is remembered for anything, it would be that we've managed to stress Keach out so much that she's leaving the school district. That's next level considering how much we all know she loves to be stressed. Sorry. Not only did we emotionally told Keach and Barry, but our class's student council reps were placed on probation for a number of reasons, mainly because we were just jerks. Luckily, I think we shaped up and matured, mostly. Despite how much trouble we caused, we were fortunate enough to have the faculty at THS that were caring, understanding, and occasionally loving when they needed to. We always had a teacher that had our back, whether it be problems at school or at home. The people here went above and beyond to help us out. That degree of dedication came in handy, especially when COVID hit and we were all forced to take school from our homes or pretty much anywhere with Wi-Fi. I remember very distinctly Mr. Emig, recently a new father, joined our AP Chem Zoom meeting, panicked because his water heater was destroying his house, but he took the time to get onto the meeting and ask us permission to take the day off and go take care of his house. Not so reluctantly, we obliged. When I look across this group of soon-to-be graduates, I see the people that I spent every day with. A lot of good memories and a few bad ones too, but in the grand sum of it all, I can only look back at my time in high school as an overwhelmingly positive experience in my life. The last couple weeks of school, Mrs. Wiggs asked me how it felt to be so close to graduation. I told her that it felt like the last episode of my favorite TV show. Whether you've been here since the beginning or joined along the way, I want to say that I couldn't have asked for a better group of people to grow up with. Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for being here. My name is Brianna Schwenk, and I, as well, have been a part of Tremont schools, for 13 years. And within those 13 years, there were many good times and bad times, some more memorable than others. But there's one memory that I will never forget. In fourth grade, our class was put into reading groups. The teacher prefaced by saying some of us would be put into a more advanced group based on how good he thought we were at reading. 10-year-old me, thinking I was the smartest person in the world because I skipped kindergarten, eagerly waited for my name to be called to join my smart friends in reading a really hard book entitled Crispin and the Cross of Lead. Ironically, me being the genius I thought I was, I couldn't figure out if it was called Cross of Lead or Cross of Lead. Either way, I was sure I would be part of this advanced group. But as he finished making the groups, I started to realize I was going to be put in the normal group. For me, that was absolutely unacceptable. I was enraged. I feel like I might have even confronted the teacher, demanding to know why on earth he thought I couldn't read Crispin in the cross of whatever, but I'm sure he was too intimidated by me to even reply. So I stormed off to my normal reading group and sat there, steam coming out of my ears as I sped through the easy book he gave to us normal people. I vowed to myself that I would read Crispin on my own, just to show the teacher how wrong he was. I even approached him and asked to borrow the book to read on my own time, hoping he would think, oh wow, she is smart. I should have put her in the advanced group. But he just gave me the book and didn't really care. Just a few weeks ago, after airing out years of pent-up rage in class, I discovered that Chase Gibson went through the exact same thing. Well, guess who's speaking at senior graduation? Not the advanced readers, I'll tell you that much. It's these memories that keep me in awe. Why was that something that 10-year-old me thought was so important and I was so upset about, and then I remembered it for another 8 years? It's the most random things that get stuck in our minds forever. But what's even more fascinating is when you tell someone about it, thinking, man, this is really stupid and they're probably not going to remember this, and then they remember the exact same thing. Even just sitting down with classmates this year and working on the senior video, so many memories came up. Most of them about how we were traumatized or wronged in our grade school years, but memories nonetheless. Growing up together and being with each other for 13 years created many unique moments, ones that some will remember and others will forget. But high school isn't something that you just forget. It creates unbreakable bonds, and no matter how far away each of us travels, no matter how many years it will be since we see each other again, we will always have the memories, some different and some the same, to keep us together. So I thank all the teachers, all the way from preschool to senior year. You guys have poured out your time and effort into us, helping to create memories and bonds, hoping to grow us into wise young leaders. And all we give you in return is sass and complaints. But you took it all like champs. It's like you've gone through this before or something. And some of you even gave it back to us. Yes, I'm talking about you, Fink. But behind all the complaining, we truly do appreciate you, and we see how much you really care about us. No matter how much we vent about the horrors of AP Chem, actually, can we just have a moment of silence for those who have suffered through that class? Thank you. We still love Mr. Emig, and we know he was just trying to turn us all into geniuses. Unfortunately, it didn't really work for most of us. He should have had us read Crispin or something. So as I bring this speech to a close, I'd like to once again thank all of you for leaving a lasting impact on our lives, because good teachers stay with you forever. And though there's a teacher shortage nationwide, Tremont is in no shortage of good teachers. So I'll leave you all with this, in the words of Ms. Eve, slightly adjusted to fit the scenario. Have a good life and make good decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Chase and Brianna, for proudly representing your class today. Now it's time to recognize some academic achievements of the class of 2022. A few years ago, Tremont High School switched to a 3-tiered system to categorize seniors with the highest cumulative grade point averages. This system matches that of many colleges and universities, categorizing students as cum laude, magna cum laude, summa cum laude. Will our students who are graduating with the distinction of cum laude please stand? These students have a GPA of 3.5 to 3.91 after their 8 semesters of high school. They are being distinguished with a gold tassel. Graduates, you may be seated. Will our students who are graduating with the distinction of magna cum laude please stand? These students have a GPA of 3.92 to 3.97 after their 8 semesters of high school. They are being distinguished with a gold tassel and a gold cord. Graduates, you may be seated. The highest category, summa cum laude, is made up of students who achieve a cumulative GPA of 3.98 to 4.0. Will our students who are graduating with this distinction please stand? These students are being distinguished with a gold tassel, a gold cord, and a gold sash. I would like to recognize these students at this time. Students, please come forward to receive your medal when I say your name. These students have achieved summa cum laude over their 8 semesters of high school. Madison Edwards. Lauren Hawes. Gracie Miller. Aaliyah Porritt. Anna Porritt. Katie Schaefer. Grace Smalley. And Sophia Sumer. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause to the summa cum laude students of the class of 2022. You may be seated. In addition, several of the members of the class of 2022 were awarded scholarships from community organizations and also their colleges of choice. Please refer to the list in the program for those students who were awarded scholarships. Good afternoon to all of you. It's a beautiful day to celebrate the achievements of the class of 2022. Thank you to parents, grandparents, friends, and supporters of this class. In your support of your graduate, you have also supported the school district for many years. We are so grateful for this. It is this support that makes Tremont a fantastic community. Graduates, look around you. The people in this gym should be treasured. They have nurtured you, grown with you. They have been your #1 fan, no matter what growing pains you might have faced. And they're here today to watch you start the first moments of the rest of your life. At this time, I'd like to ask the parents of the graduates from the class of 2022 to please stand and be recognized. Thank you for all you've done to make today possible. Thank you to all the people in the district who have made this event happen, the Tremont Board of Education, Mr. Berry, Mrs. Gennard, Mrs. Litweiler, and the maintenance staff for setting everything up. And also thank you to Mr. Eisenberg, who is live streaming this graduation today. Graduates, there is a group of people in this room who are so extremely proud of you today. Leave it to a teacher to be almost as proud of your accomplishments as your parents. Your teachers have watched you mature and grow over the past 4 years. They have been there through your struggles and your celebrations. They have laughed with you and maybe a few times gotten a little frustrated with you, but they stand next to you today to cheer you on and wish you the very best. Teachers are all amazing, but Tremont teachers are the best. Faculty, please stand. Let's give your teachers a round of applause for all of their hard work. Thank you. Graduates, we sit here again, another year, another graduation, except this time, you are the ones we are celebrating. You have undoubtedly sat through other graduations of friends, siblings, cousins, but today is your day, and you deserve the celebration. You have put in a lot of hard work to get here. Some of you have been here year after year, and some joined along the way, but you are going through this graduation ceremony together. You are the class of 2022, and although after you leave this gym, there will be some classmates you don't see for a very long time, you will always be tied together as the class of 2022. Before you leave today, I get the opportunity to send you off with some last-minute thoughts as you begin your new life, and what a life it will be. No more living life bell to bell, having to worry about tardies, reassessments, a dress code. No more having your parents call you in when you're sick or you're tardy. You will now live a life of freedom and independence. But be careful. As with great independence comes great responsibility. As you leave this gym today and walk into your new life, I have a few thoughts to share with you. Time flies and it goes fast. I am sure that 4 years ago when you walked into this building as a freshman, you thought it would be forever until you were the ones graduating. But my guess is that you're sitting here today wondering where in the world the time went. And I guarantee you that your families are wondering the same thing. Time is precious and it goes by quickly. Cherish it by being deliberate about how you spend your time and who you spend your time with. Because the one thing about time is that you never get it back. There is a quote I am sure you've all heard. Enjoy the small things because one day the small things will become big things. I cannot tell you how true that is. Think about all the small things from high school. Hearing Keach yelling down the hall, Mr. Emmig's daily jokes, dissections with Mrs. Galletti, songs in Spanish with Senora, Mr. Schmidt's wisdom, and Mrs. Wick's stories. And even seeing all of your friends in one place as you pass them through the hall. Football games, school dances, those times have passed in your life. They are over. And as much as they might have seemed like small things, my guess is that one day you will look back on those times fondly and remember your high school days in the halls of Tremont with fondness and realize that all these small moments made up a pretty great high school experience. And as you move forward, make the most of your time in whatever it is you do. Graduation is bittersweet for all involved. It is a symbol of moving from adolescence and dependence upon others to true adulthood. The decisions you make and the actions you take are now all on you. Miss Eve telling you to make good choices will never ring more true than it will from this moment on. So make good choices, but also make the most of your time. As I watch all of you celebrating high school graduation, I think of my own children. I am right now living in the days I'm sure that some of your parents wish they could go back to. I find myself taking children from place to place, being pulled in many different directions, and trying to be involved in all that I can. But I'm also in constant awe of how fast their little lives are going by. I am reminded daily by each of you to cherish these times with them because I know all too well that they will be over in a blink of an eye. Give your moms, dads, grandparents, supporters a little extra hug today because they are sending you off into the world. They have made the most of their time with you, and now it's time for you to start your own journey. And finally, students, as you move forward into life, the best thing you can do is keep going. There are going to be moments of disappointment. My guess is that all of you have experienced that at this point somewhat. Everyone in this gym has experienced that, but you cannot let those disappointments define you. We learn more from our struggles than we do our triumphs. Most coaches will tell you that a team will learn more from games they lose rather than the games they win. The disappointments in life will teach you more about yourself than the times when all seems to be going right. It might take a little while to see through the fog of disappointment, but I am a firm believer that in any dark cloud, there is a silver lining. You just have to look for it. Take a lesson from cows and buffaloes. Rory Vaden wrote an article for the Tennessean that was titled, "Be the Buffalo and Face Life's Storms," where he gives a good lesson about success and leadership. In his article, he talks about growing up in Colorado and the lessons he learned by watching buffalo and cows living in close proximity. He talks about the way that both of these animals handle storms as they roll into the prairie. You see, cows see a storm coming and they run away from the storm. But cows aren't very fast, so the storm catches up to them eventually, and they end up running with the storm, meaning they actually spend more time weathering the storm. Humans are like this. We often spend so much time trying to escape challenges or difficult times that we aren't quick enough to face these challenges when they occur because we haven't been conditioned. Buffalo, on the other hand, run into storms. They run straight through it. Yes, this causes some pain, but it minimizes the amount of time and frustration they experience from the storm. We don't always get to choose which storms we will face or when these storms will surface, but we will all inevitably have storms, and we get to choose how we respond to these storms. Your teachers, coaches, parents, grandparents, and mentors have equipped you to go out and be successful in life, but now it is your turn. Will you be a cow or will you be a buffalo? Congratulations to the class of 2022. Mr. Berry, it is my distinct honor to present to you this class as meeting the requirements for graduation established by the Tremont District 702 School Board and the Illinois State Board of Education. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Ullman. On behalf of the Tremont 702 Board of Education, I'd like to extend a sincere welcome to friends and family members of our graduates. We appreciate your attendance as we celebrate a milestone in the lives of these young adults. Before accepting this class, it's my honor to recognize two groups of students. One group is our graduates who have been named Illinois State Scholars. Recognition as an Illinois State Scholar is based on a combination of academic achievement, grade point average, and SAT score. These students are considered to be in the top 10% of all graduates from high schools throughout the state based on the metrics that are used. I would like to ask Illinois State Scholars to stand when I call their name and remain standing until all have been recognized. This year's Illinois State Scholars are Brianna Cassidy, Leah Dennis, Lauren Haas, Rachel Cook, Gracie Miller, Zachary Miller, Aaliyah Porritt, Anna Porritt, Isaac Roller, Katie Schaefer, Sarah Sherman, Grace Smalley, Caleb Steiner, and Sophia Sumer. Congratulations to this year's Illinois State Scholars. I would also like to recognize 9 students as graduates of distinction. They have successfully completed a prescribed curriculum involving the most rigorous courses THS has to offer while attaining a minimum grade point average of at least 3.75. They've already received their award, but we'd like them to stand and be recognized. Congratulations to Brianna Cassidy, Evan Connell, Madison Edwards, Chase Gibson, Lauren Haas, Rachel Cook, Gracie Miller, Caleb Steiner, and Sophia Sumer. Congratulations to the graduates of distinction. One thing I noticed about this class is that there's a lot of quality wrestling talent in this class. So one thing we didn't tell you graduates is before you can get your diploma, we're going to have a battle royale up on stage. So get loosened up and ready because that's going to be the last challenge before you can leave here. Now, the class of 2022 is the 10th class that I've seen graduate from Tremont High School since I arrived here, and I've had the pleasure of delivering graduation speeches each of those years. I try to make each one unique. When I first became a principal mentor of mine told me to write a new speech the first 4 years and then just recycle it from there on out. But I've never been able to do that because to me, each class is unique. So each speech should be unique. Over the years, I've used a variety of themes when speaking to graduates: Disney songs, Dr. Seuss quotes, a speech that included every graduate's name. That was a difficult one, and a long speech, by the way. A speech purposely full of cliches. That was kind of fun. Last year, I roasted Nathan Booker in his van. I even once delivered a speech that was designed as a choose-your-own-adventure story, during which a graduate would periodically choose from 2 options and the story could go in any direction. That was a tough one because I basically had to write 2 speeches because I had no idea what they were going to choose. Today's speech is a little different. It is a short. It's one I think you'll be able to relate to, and one that hopefully will provide you some good insight and advice as you begin your post-high school lives. 30 years ago, there was a 7th grade member of a junior high track team that had run sprints the whole season with varying degrees of success. A week before the sectional meet, his coach approached him about running the mile at the sectional, even though the longest race he'd run that year, or ever, was a 200. A mile? Really? The 7th grader thought, who would willingly run a mile? It was not an exciting development for this runner, but the coach was entering him in the mile whether he liked it or not, so he really didn't have a choice. The team's usual distance runner was injured, and the coach was seeking to fill the spot. The coach told the runner that it was a one-time thing, and he wouldn't have to run the mile again unless he qualified for state, which seemed like an extreme long shot at the time. So with less than a week of practice to prepare, he ran the mile at the sectional and just missed qualifying for state. Since he wasn't a big fan of distance running, the one positive was that he didn't have to run the mile the next week. After the race, the coach approached him and gave him a high five. The runner was confused. He didn't win the race. He didn't qualify for state. So why was coach so happy? Coach said, because you're going to qualify for state next year in the mile. So much for being the last time he'd run the mile. That may have been more upsetting than doing all that running and not winning. So as 8th grade track season got underway the next spring, the runner committed to the goal of qualifying for state in the mile. He trained hard, learned about race strategies, got into the right kind of shape to run that kind of distance. The early season results did not necessarily indicate that qualifying for state was very likely, but as the season continued, the results improved. When the sectional meet rolled around, it was time to see if the goal could be achieved. Times entering the meet showed that qualifying for state was possible, but certainly not a sure thing at all. It was going to be a difficult challenge. It was a hot and humid day in May, like we've had recently. The runner was familiar with several other runners in the race because he'd lost to them throughout the season. During the race, though, the runner found a spot just behind the leader and settled in. Several other runners bunched up near the front of the pack. On the last lap, the runner made his move and took the lead. Now he just had to hold everyone else off. He felt an unusual burst with about 200 meters to go and crossed the finish line with a significant lead that beat his personal best by over 10 seconds. He had done it. Not only qualified for state, but he won the sectional outright. Like the year before, the coach approached him and excitedly gave him a high five. His coach reminded him about their conversation and gave him a big "I told you so." But the story wasn't over. While the sectional win was great, the state meet was the following week. The runner hadn't really thought much about that since the focus had always just been on qualifying for state. He also knew the state meet would certainly be the last time he'd run a mile competitively since he wasn't going to run track in high school anyway. That was a bit of a relief, actually. Now what? At the state meet, it became clear rather quickly that the fairy tale was not going to continue. Falling off the pace early, the runner never recovered and finished second to last. His time was 15 seconds slower than it was the week before. It was a deflating end to an exciting season. So you're probably thinking, okay, what's the point here? Get to the point, it's hot in here. The point is that setting goals is important and achieving goals is great, but you have to continue to set them as you go. The story about the track runner is true, and I can tell you this because it was about me. I was the runner. And after qualifying for state, I lost the fire and the drive to work toward a new goal because getting to state was the goal. Placing at state was never even considered. It sounds silly, but I kind of regret that to this day, 30 whatever years later. I didn't really challenge myself to do anything other than qualify for state, and once I did, I pretty much just went through the motions after that. Even if you never specifically thought about it, all of you have had the goal of graduating from high school, or you wouldn't be sitting here today. Today, you're achieving that goal. Take some time to celebrate it, but then take some time to think about what's next. Set goals, work toward them, and then set new goals. You need to continually challenge yourself to become the best you can be in your career, with your family, and in your life, with your life in general. Part of our job as educators is to provide you with the skills to be successful throughout your lives. Ultimately, it's up to you to use those skills to chart your course. Goal setting is something you'll do the rest of your life. It doesn't have to be formal. You don't have to write them down or keep score, although that's not a bad idea. Setting goals each day can be beneficial. Wake up in the morning and think about what do you want to accomplish that day. That's goal setting. It keeps you on track and it gives you some purpose. Today's a milestone that marks the achievement of a goal in your life, but don't be like I was in 8th grade track. Set new goals, evaluate the progress, and then modify the goals if needed. and then set new goals again. Don't get complacent or too comfortable. Each one of you has the potential to do great things whether you realize it now or not. I wish you all the best as you leave here and begin a new chapter of your life. Congratulations to you all. Presenting diplomas today to our graduates will be Board of Education members Mrs. Renee Kaiser and Dr. Volkan Sumer. We respectfully ask that audience members help us continue our tradition of recognizing the graduates in a dignified manner when their names are read. Will row one please rise? Corey Christina Pitts.
Josiah Dale Grant.
Emily Faith Love.
Riley J. Battles.
Jenna Michelle Getz.
Cooper Daniel McLean.
Bailey K. Gingrich.
Lauren Marie Haas.
Andrew John Replogel.
Luke Gehrman Souter.
Sarah Katharina Sherman.
Corey Danielle DeWitt.
Jace Evan Fangmeyer.
Jack Henry Litweiler.
Sydney Elaine Zillion.
Gracie Lee Miller.
Samuel Chase Litweiler.
Zachary Isaac Jones.
Mary Jane Rain McMillan.
Jenna Abigail Sellers.
Zachary Thomas Miller.
Logan Eli Knobloch.
Mia Renee Flederer.
Riley Delaney Gunn.
Tate William Martin.
Levi James Leitner.
Brianna Grace Schwenk. Dylan Jason Wilmore.
Michael Knapp.
Madison Taylor Edwards.
Madison Marie Jones.
Kylie Shea Brandt.
Dawson Isaiah Hillman.
Zachary David Saul.
Megan Christine Snyder.
Tierra Gray Shadle.
Noel Ivan Matthew Larimore.
Andrew Paul.
Big Martin Roller.
Caleb Jonathan Steiner.
Sophia Ariel Sumer.
Isabella Marie Snow.
Noah Daniel Moser.
Elijah Everett Hengst.
Anna Joelle Porritt.
Aaliyah Nicole Porritt. Isaiah Christopher Etok.
Aiden Michael Seward.
Grace Catherine Smalley.
Emma Elizabeth Lennington.
Benjamin Ryan Roll.
Chandler Michael Elhanan Relaford.
Sophia Glenn Leitner.
Ashlyn Ray Allen.
Tyler Eugene Wirchus.
Travis William Van Antwerp.
Rachel Ann Cook.
Katie Lynn Schaefer.
Trevor Matthew Sauter. Leah Marie Dennis.
Brianna Siobhan Cassidy.
James Daniel Wagenbach.
Brody John Fleehardy.
Marley Osaratine Alui.
Andrew Ryan Gillette.
Keegan Arthur Fleardy.
Adam Joseph Burgess.
Dylan Michael Lucas.
David Orrin Smith.
Evan Douglas Connell.
Cooper Dale Wendling.
Shamar David Williams. Leave it there. Will the rest of the class of 22 please rise? Having met the requirements set by both the Illinois State Board of Education and the Tremont Board of Education, I hereby accept this class and certify that these individuals have graduated from this fine institution. You may now adjust your tassels. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm honored to present the 127th graduating class of Tremont High School. Best wishes to you all. After they're done, let's walk out.